Shalom, Yasharallah. This your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here article, which is still a hot topic in the news as things are starting to unfold and unravel. It's just pretty much like you're seeing a relationship go sour. You have a married couple, all right, then all of a sudden, one of the people, let's just say the woman winds up, they have their differences, right? Now, all of a sudden, they're sleeping in different bedrooms, all right? They're not really talking to one another, all right? They're starting to make plans for this and that, they're both starting to look for new homes and new apartments and things like that. It's only a short matter of time before, the relationship's already over, all right? But now they just have to, play cordial with one another until they can, get their shit together and go get their own little place, all right, separate, all right? And this is what you're starting to see, all right? This is just like as the scriptures say, I can think of two different scriptures. One in Habakkuk, where it says the vision is yet for an appointed time, all right, which we're going to go into in this here lesson about how America's allies are going to start turning on them, all right? And another precept, the end is manifest, all right? So another one, Lord's will we'll grab these precepts as they come to my mind. Lord's will, they'll come back up. But, a kingdom divided against itself, man, all right? Hey, man, it's looking bad out here for Esau, man, all right? He can't get his shit together here in America. All right, he can't get his shit together, with his own allies. You have Trump and Biden supporters fighting each other. All right, you have participants fighting with these store owners and things like that, employers and things like that, man. All right, it's going, it's just running rampant, man. You're just basically seeing a dysfunctional family having all their family issues, in a public place, all right? And this is just, you're just seeing all these other nations sit back and laugh at their ass, man. Like, wait a minute, how y'all trying to dominate the whole world when you can't even get your shit together? Who gonna drive the damn military jeep, man? Y'all over here fighting on who driving. Meanwhile, y'all supposed to be over here trying to attack us. What the hell? All right, but hey, nevertheless, like the scriptures say, the end is manifest, all right? And so now we're watching, the deterioration of Esau. And also, hey, these curses are falling upon Esau, all right? He has an evil eye towards his brother now, all right? So it says, new AUKUS nuclear bloc won't just battle China. It will take into confrontation with Russia too, Moscow's security chief says, all right? So again, you're just making, things worse for you, all right? Again, I gave the analogy of a couple, all right, going through a split up while they're still living in the same house, but let's say the place they're living in, right, is under one person's name. Let's just say the house is under the man's name. He decide he gonna stop paying rent and start doing this and doing that. Like, bro, you only fucking up your credit, cuz now when you do that, it's gonna be harder for you to go get your own place. Like in your next move to go get your own place somewhere else, why would you mess up this credit? You know what I'm saying? So how can you really progress if you're taking 2 steps backwards? All right. It says a new geopolitical deal that will see the U.S. and UK team up with Australia to station nuclear submarines deep down in the Pacific Ocean is a hostile step aimed not only at Beijing, but at Moscow too, a top Russian official claims, all right? Nikolai Petrovy, the secretary of Russia's Security Council, told this newspaper on Tuesday that the pact between the three nations known as AUKUS will inevitably be yet another military bloc aimed at continuing the confrontation containing and confronting the two strongest non-Western powers. So like the analogy I just gave, man, all right, your plan is to separate from your old lady, go get your own spot and everything like that, and I'm about to show this bitch. Then you over here not paying rent and everything else like that at the spot you already at, and you trying to go get another spot, then she gonna just be looking at you like you stupid, like, nah, this nigga can't even get a little spot, he's supposed to be showing me up or whatever. Hey, man, these nations are just laughing at you, man, all right? It says, Nikolai Petrovy, the secretary... Oh, we just read that. It says, according to the interview, Petrovy compared the pact with Quad, a strategic dialogue format between the U.S., India, Japan, and Australia designed to strengthen Washington's position across Asia. According to him, the group is a military political bloc with pronounced pro-American character. Just the other day, another military bloc was formed in the region, the American, British, Australian AUKUS, which pursues the same goals. The top official went on, according to him, the New Deal, which will see London and Washington hand over the technical know-how for Cabrera to develop and deploy nuclear-powered submarines, as a threat to the entire security architecture in Asia. And really, it's just only really weakening America, man. All right, because you had these allies that went through thick and thin with your ass. All right, you know what I'm saying? It's again, comparing this to a relationship. You with this here woman, through thick and thin, top to bottom. You didn't got locked up 5-10 years. She didn't roll with you the whole time and everything else like that. Well, let's flip it around. You got this man that's helping take care of you and pay all your bills, get you out of debt and everything else like this, and doing everything he can for you. All right. And then at the end of the day, you don't respect this man. You put this man business out like that, man. All right. You think that this man's going to continue doing things like this for you? Or do you think he's going to start, all right, maybe, not to say the things I value, but the things that I'm providing for you and giving to you, this and that, and I realize you don't respect me in that, I'll just take this somewhere else to somebody who deserves these types of things. All right. So ultimately, this is what it's out here creating for America, man. More problems for them. All right. You about to get left out there alone to where you're not going to have nobody for your back, man. You just drug your allies through 20 years of sacrificing their militaries, their economies, and things like that, and just their own security. All right. But nevertheless, you brought them through all these things for you to sit here and pull out and leave them dry and astray and everything else like that while you was building up with Russia. And these people sacrifice for you, man. All right. They sacrifice dealing with Russia, which could have benefited them. All right. You know what I'm saying? Again, just like a relationship, man. All right. You putting up with this here so-called toxic woman that don't cook for you, don't clean for you, and this and that. You working 80 hours to provide for this here woman just to go spend all your money on another dude or something else like that. Then now all of a sudden you got a woman that's coming, and showing you some attention, and she's doing right by you and everything else like that. Who you think this man's going to wind up wanting to be with, man? He's going to want to be with the woman that appreciates him. So at the end all be all, man. Hey, man, America, you need to look at yourself in the mirror, man. And you ask yourself why you alone, man. All right. It says France, which saw its long-delayed multi-billion-dollar deal to supply Australia with a fleet of new submarines, canned as a result of the pact. So, like the analogy I was just giving, man. All right. These folks was out trying to do something to benefit them. All right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, man, I was trying to have my little family together and have everything else like this to benefit us. But, I'm going to working 80 hours a week, and you taking my money to go spend on this nigga to go buy him X, Y, and Z and everything else like that. Nah, bitch, this shit is over with, man. All right, you got to go kick rocks and go be with that nigga. He don't even really want you to be, to be around him anyway. He was just using you for this and using you for that. So now you are here alone, man. All right, you out in your house with your cat food and everything else like that. This is the position that America's about to be in, man. Left out there dry, man. Talking about some, hey, man, where all my homies at? Where all my allies there? They the ones, they aiming missiles at you, man. Look at how you treated them the whole time, man. Look at how you've been dragging them along in the dirt and everything else you doing like that. And then all of a sudden, you leave them out there high and dry in certain scenarios. And then on this scenario, this is an economic move. And this ain't the first time that America did something like this to France. All right. Because it really Germany as well, too, man. They really not talking about Germany as much in this here scenario. But Germany is, right now the hot news is on France walking away, France and America breaking up. But really it's France and Germany as well. France and Germany breaking up from America. All right, along with some of these other nations. Now you also got to understand about the Brits and the Brexit situation. So they're not really rolling with the EU like that no more, for one. All right, which is a crack inside, the beast system. All right, or the beast the whore's riding upon. All right, then you had Germany and France wanted a joint military project, or however you want to call it, to design their own fighter jet. All right, and now you also had France and I believe Australia wanted to do the same thing with these. What the difference is a diesel powered submarine. Right now, the whole importance of all these things is the fact of, look, these nations, they were, how do I say, they were creating a way for them to produce something, to sell something, to benefit them as far as economically. All right, because you have to understand that America is the horde that's riding upon the beast. But then, really, like all of NATO and all of them, who you think they buying their weapons and their supplies from, man? They buying them from America, which is putting money in America's pocket. All right, so America's the one heading the charge, bringing all these other nations into these wars, spoiling these other nations, right, with their allies. But guess what? The allies aren't sharing in none of the spoils. Now, when America ramps up with their military and then they supply all of NATO and everybody else with guns, planes, tanks, and everything else like that, where are these companies that's designing these planes and things like that? They're right here in America. You got the Lockheed Martins, Raytheons, Northrop and Grumman, I said Lockheed Martin, General Electric. All these companies are all in America. So whenever these niggas is dropping bombs, whether it be France, Germany, any of the NATO allies, they dropping bombs, they flying planes, they shooting guns, they expending rounds. America getting paid off for all of that, right? So now you have these other countries like France and Germany that didn't want to buy this expensive ass failure of a plane called the F-35. They wanted to design their own plane to benefit them, which would be better for them. But not only that, it would be better for the economy if they could sell these planes to some of their other allies or whoever they wanted to sell it to. All right, but America put a stop to all of that. All right, now you have the same thing with this submarine situation, which they didn't already have this deal some years back, but then all of a sudden America just slid up in there and undercut them, man. All right, so hey, man, you would see how these people are furious, man. All right, so they're like, yo, bro, not only did I remember when what's his name, Donald Trump was first coming into office and how he was blasting NATO, talking about how and Angela Merkel's neck, and when they was going back and forth about how NATO should be spending more into the NATO budget. They should be putting up more than 2% or raising more than 2% increase on their NATO budget, right? Because America was the one footing the bill all the time, but then again, America is the one that's benefiting off of all these things, man. If I'm spending altogether 60% of money on the NATO budget as America, and all these other countries collectively make up the rest of the 40%. They can be like, well, shit, we taking up the biggest brunt of the budget, but at the same time, you're receiving 99.9% of the rewards and the benefits. Because again, anytime somebody buy a gun, plane, tank, any of these things is going in America's pockets, man. All right. So it says, I'm not even gonna read the rest. So let's just get into the scriptures, man. All right, because ultimately, hey, man, you're watching the end all be all of this here thing. Start here in Matthew 12 and Lord's will, we'll get back to those precepts. Matthew 12 and 25, it says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. Now, when we read about this in Revelation 17, the beast is riding the horse. They're one and the same. Not to say one and the same. It's like a person driving a car. You see what I'm saying? The car ain't driving itself. You know what I'm saying? You got a person in there that's piloting that car, right? So if they're, how do I say, all right, give you the same analogy. You in your car, you come into a red light, you start putting your foot on the brake to stop the car, and all of a sudden your brakes stop working, but now your accelerator is being pressed down. Your car starts speeding up. You and your car are working tandem together to get the one response that you want. Come to a complete stop at this here red light. No, y'all fighting against one another. So what? Y'all are divided, and guess what it's going to end up with? A car accident, a crash, man. All right, a total loss. And this is what you're starting to see go on here with America and their allies, all right? Because ultimately, America wants to go to war with Russia, and this is all part of prophecy anyway. But again, you working not in tandem with your vehicle. You coming to the light, about to come to a stop, you start hitting the brake, and your car start accelerating faster. Again, you're going to want to put a crash. So when America's ultimate end-game goal is to wage war on Russia, like, bro, you had a lot of allies with you, but you done ran them all off onto the other side. So how the hell you finna fight? You was only fighting against three people. Now you fighting nigga up against, it's you by yourself against everybody else, man. All right, so ultimately, let me read the next one. Verse 26, and if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall his kingdom stand? Now, we can read about that in Job 9 and 24, about how the earth was given into the hand of the wicked, right? Now, if he had dominion over the whole earth, all right, but now all of a sudden he's at odds with his own self, all right, he has that evil eye towards his own brother. What do you think is going to happen to that rulership seat, man? All right, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, man. All right, so, hey, man, for you Jakes out there talking about we need to do this, build our own communities and take over and do all this and that, and economic empowerment. No, I'll just sit back, have faith in the Lord, and this nigga is going to destroy himself before you do. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes, you be at the job, you see somebody you don't really like, they doing some dumb shit or whatever. Some people like, I'm about to go tell on Ray over here. He over here sleeping on the job, stealing time from the job and doing X, Y, and Z. Nah, sometimes it's better off for you just to leave their ass alone, because the shit that they doing gonna get themselves caught up, man. All right, so hey, man, you just sit back and wait and watch, and while this nigga over here sleeping on the job and stealing time and stealing this and stealing that, the boss is watching him on video all damn day long anyway, man. All right, so hey, man, it's only a matter of time before all his plans come to naught. All right, let me go from well, let me grab this in Obadiah as well. Grab that Habakkuk. Hang on 1 second. This is Obadiah 1:7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have bought thee even to the border. All right. And as we were reading that article about how, this isn't just a threat towards China. All right. But you also making, Russia on that same list. All right. Which you wasn't so-called trying to be the aggressor or create provocations for them in that sense. All right. Which we know your end goal game is. But nevertheless, you got Russia and China on the other end of your scope. But not only that, again, you're creating enemies out of your own allies, man. You're turning your own allies into your enemies now. All right. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have bought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. All right. And so now, you talking about you got France and as an ally, like France, Germany, a lot of these other European nations as well, too. All right. Being your ally. But then you make deals that, undermine their sovereignty and things like that and their self-governance. Like I can think about that with Turkey. All right. Not even dealing with the S-400, but they have, what is it called? YKG or something like it. There's a so-called group, what America calls moderate rebels, that they sit over there, use as a proxy to fight off some of their enemies, which they're arming these folks, which these people are quote-unquote terrorists or being seen as terrorists towards Turkey. All right, so Turkey's like, yo, y'all supposed to be my people, but y'all over here arming my enemies. You know what I'm saying? So they over here bringing drama to my front door. So now you, in an extent, you're not allowing, you're propping them up. There's a different word, but you're basically propping them up. You're giving them the ammo to come over and bring me the smoke, man. Now I got to work twice as hard. I got to be watching my back against you now. All right. Obadiah 1:7, it says, all the men of thy confederacy have bought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. And they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There's no understanding in him. All right. So, hey, man, again, you have all these American allies, that's been taken care of, or not taken care of, but, they some of their military, been getting upgrades from being with America and everything else like that. But ultimately, man, you didn't prop them all up. All right, and everything else like this, gave them certain kinds of training, certain types of weapons and things like that. Like, for instance, Turkey, all right, has some of America's nuclear stockpile over there. All right, and some, I believe it's the B-52 bombers and things like that over there. Like, bruh, and then they was part of the F-35 program. So what can you really say to them? All right, what can you really, get up in their face about or whatever? They're like, all right, we'll just turn this S-400 on next to the F-35. All right, well, we'll just let these Russians over here see your B-52s and your nuclear arsenal and things like that and work on how they can counter these things. Or we could just not allow you to come pick your shit back up then. All these different scenarios is pretty much putting America between a rock and a hard spot, man. All right, so they're pretty much cutting their own, death certificate, man. All right. Let me just get to the point. Revelation 17:16, it says, the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall enter her, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Making her naked, exposing her of certain things, man. All right, and just think about how much joint military training that America has been doing with their allies and everything else like that, and training them on how to use their weapons and showing them the certain weak spots. You know how you get a certain thing, or maybe you got a car or a TV or something like that, you got your peoples over or something like that, or maybe that toilet or something like that at your crib, like, yo, hey, cuz I can use your bathroom real quick. Yeah, but when you go back there, you're gonna have to jiggle the little lever a little bit and then do this and do that, flip the lights on twice, and then, turn the shower on, then you can flush the toilet, right? They're showing you your vulnerabilities and your weak spots and everything else like that. So it's like, man, then you want to go piss this person off, like, oh, now I know their toilet broke or whatever. I know how to take advantage of them in this here scenario. So the same way with the American allies, they've been building up, they've been eating your bread, showing them your weaknesses and your battle formations and how you would do certain things and how you would come in, your military planning and all these things. Because, for the last a long time America been doing these joint military exercises, joint military drills with their allies. But then for what? Why would you train them all up at, and then make these moves like this to pretty much turn them into your enemies? All right. So, hey, man, this is, making you bare, making you naked, man. The ones that you've been feeding and everything else like that now know all your vulnerable, where you vulnerable at, put it that way. All right. Let me go from, I quoted this. Let me grab this real quick. These last two, Habakkuk 2 and 3. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. All right, and now we're in a time where all these prophecies are literally jumping off the pages, man. All right, America's allies, we used to only mainly speak about Turkey. All right, and then when we started seeing the beginning of the Brexit move and some of these other European nations trying to break away, all right, those was just the beginnings. But now you're starting to see Australia, France, or not Australia, France and Germany. All right, all these different people over different scenarios, whether it be the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, all right, or whether it be over this submarine deal, all right, or if it's over the S-400. All right, it seems like all your allies are all doing things that are contrary to your, not your beliefs, but your plans, more or less to say, man. All right. Oh, I know what I want to grab. I quoted this opening up. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9. Marie 1 through 5. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou shalt see part of the signs past, which I told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it's the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And we can read about that in Matthew 24, about a lot of these end time signs they asked about. One of them was wars and rumors of wars, and we're seeing a lot of that stirring up right about now, right? It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, and there's plenty of uproars of the people around the world for all kind of things, man. I was looking at an article about what was it, the Chargers and the Cowboy fans going at each other, the anti-lockdown protests going on, the anti-jab protests going on, all these different things over a lot of different scenarios. You got these uproars, also with these prophecies speaking, It says, verse 4, then thou shalt understand then thou shalt understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. So we're watching the division of this here man's kingdom. All right. So, and we're also watching the downfall of and the deterioration of this man's kingdom. About let me grab that real quick. Where is it? Isaiah. Well, that wasn't the one I wanted. Well, we can read this real quick. Isaiah 14 and 4 says, thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how has the oppressor ceased, and the golden city ceased? Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continuous stroke, he that ruleth the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. All right, so amen. How has the golden city ceased, right? Precept I wanted to grab. It's in Salaka, give me 1 second. Right here. Let me start at verse 22. Jeremiah 50 and 22, it says, the sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. All right, because ultimately it's going to end in World War III. It says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? All right, we're going to get into the next precept, the next verse. But nevertheless, the hammer of the whole earth. How you been going around destroying everybody with you and your conglomerations of nations? But then now at the very end, your whole shit is falling apart. All right, and it's really is you that's creating all this turmoil and this here division amongst your own allies, your own brethren, your own strength, man. All right. It says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou was also taken. O Babylon, thou was not aware, and thou art found and caught because thou hast striven against Yahweh. So, hey, part of that snare is, we're going to start on this here deal to get this here advantage over China and over here, blah, blah, blah. Not realizing this is going to, all right, well, you still got an enemy over there with China, but now, you got one less ally or, a couple less allies and that many more enemies, man. So these are these snares that you're laying for your own self, man. Your own counselors bring you to naught, man. All right, and this is just funny. It's like, damn, these niggas really thought that they was gonna go to World War III, or they big conglomeration of nations, and it was gonna be devastation on the whole entire planet Earth. But hey, this here place is gonna be turned into the lake of fire, because you're gonna have all the people in the world with missiles shooting their missiles basically at America, man. All right, well, what about America's allies? We got NATO and NATO strong. Shit, turn the news on and see what's up with NATO right now, man. All right, but nevertheless, I'm gonna go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakak Kwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us his truth and I rule well. And salutation, much love for you. I can pushing his truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth, and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Till next time, stay strong. Shalom.